dina frågor. Kuten sanottu, mä olen siis Johanna Kauppinen ja olen lakimies. Olen 15 vuotta ollut Wärtsilän palveluksessa ja siellä teen kansainvälisen kaupan juridiikkaa. Noin 1,5 vuotta sitten päätin, että kunnallispolitiikka olisi semmoinen, jossa haluan kantaa korteni kekoon. Eli liityin RKP:hen ja nyt olen kunnallisvaaliehdokkaana. Teemoja on koulutus, työ ja toimeentulo, ympäristö ja sitten tavallaan semmoisena tausta-asiana tasa-arvo. So I am a lawyer working for Wärtsilä since about 15 years in international trade. And about 1.5 years ago, I decided that, hey, local politics is something that I want to contribute to, and I want to give my knowledge and experience to that field. My themes are education, employment, entrepreneurship, environment, and as an underlying factor also equality. And here we have the first question. Why would foreigners be interested in voting in municipal elections? Thanks for the question. First of all, to clarify, you need to be a Finnish national to vote in the presidential or national elections. But in the municipal elections, you only need to be a resident in Vaasa. So that is open for a bigger audience. In Vaasa itself, we have about 9 to 10% of the people actually have a foreign background. So it's a sizable group. And why to vote? Well, basically, consensus politics and politics is, of course, it's a slow way of changing things, but it's the only way. So if you hear or see a local politician doing something that you don't like, or saying something that you don't like, then basically in order to influence that, you need to vote. If you don't vote, don't criticize later on. In a very blunt way, and perhaps a couple of words on the Finnish party system. In some countries, like in the USA, we have seen, or in England, it's a first past the post system, meaning that it's primarily 2 parties. So winner takes all, and some of the votes are in a way lost or don't have so much meaning. In the Finnish system, I think we have 8 parties, or 8 or 9 parties in the parliament. In Vaasa Municipal Council, we have about 6 or 7. And basically, when you give your vote, it benefits both the group or the party and the individual. So when choosing a candidate, look at the party and look at the individual. Both are relevant. I like SFP, my party, specifically because it's a liberal party. The intrinsic value of every human being is important to us, and it also shows in the actions of SFP, RKP. Also, it's a market economy party, so we have a social conscience, but in a way, at the heart of it is that there needs to be employment and entrepreneurship in the society in order to give the benefits to us as we see them. Any further questions on that, please just type them in. Sitten täällä on toinen kysymys. Olet RKP:n ehdokas. Kuinka näet puolueiden nykyisen yhteistyön? Toimiiko se hyvin kaikkien valtuustossa olevien puolueiden kanssa? Mä en varmaan itse asiassa tiedä vastausta tähän, mutta mitä olen kuunnellut näitä nykyisiä kunnanvaltuutettuja, niin monet päätökset on itse asiassa kyetty tekemään yksimielisesti. Esimerkiksi tämän Vaasa, Uuma ja Lautan niin kuin kaupungin osuus siinä ja muistaakseni Vaasan stadionkin on päätetty aika yksimielisesti. Eli näemmä se toimii. Tällä hetkellä suurimmat valtuustoryhmät on RKP on suurin ja sitten muistaakseni on sosiaalidemokraatit ja kokoomus. Vihreät on myös mukana ja myös muita puolueita. Itse olen sitä mieltä, että niin kuin kuntapolitiikka varsinkin on yhteistyötä. Me kaikki halutaan Vaasan hyvää, eli siinä mielessä se keskusteluyhteys täytyy säilyä. Itse en koe perussuomalaisten ideologiaa itselleni läheisenä. Ja nyt joku sanoi, että ääni ei toimi. Se on ehkä toivottavasti sinun puolellasi, Natalia. Voitteko joku toinen vahvistaa, että kuuletteko vielä ääneni? Eli uskoisin, että yhteistyö Vaasan valtuustossa ainakin historiallisesti on toiminut ihan hyvin ja uskon, että sitä perinnettä voidaan jatkaa. So there was a question on I'm a candidate for SFP and how do I see the cooperation between the different party groups. Kiitos Pasi. Eli Natalia, luulen, että äänet on ongelma sinun päässäsi eikä täällä toivottavasti. So cooperation between party groups, cooperation is needed. In Vaasa, no one party has a simple majority. In some municipalities in Finland, actually that is the case, but not in Vaasa. The biggest groups are SFP, RKP, so my party is the biggest one. The second one is Social Democrats, and the third one is Kokoomus, Samlingspartiet, whatever that is in English. Mikä perussuomalaisten ajatuksessa tökkii eniten? Nyt mun täytyy myöntää, että mä en tunne niin kuin Vaasan perussuomalaisia oikeastaan lainkaan. Mutta semmoinen valtakunnallisesti heillä on mun mielestä epämiellyttävän rasistisia julkituloja, joka on jotenkin, niin kuin, mä en ymmärrä sitä. Ja toisaalta sitten ei ole ehkä semmoista konkreettista politiikkaa. Esimerkiksi vastustetaan maahanmuuttoa, mutta sitten ei anneta mitään vaihtoehtoa. Suomalainen väestökehitys on sellainen, että me tarvitaan tänne enemmän ihmisiä kuin nykyiset perheet voi synnyttää. Eli siinä ehkä se olennaisin, joka mulla tökkii noin valtakunnallisella tasolla. How many votes does a municipal candidate need in Vaasa to be elected? You especially. You go straight to the point, Gary. So my aim is ambitiously to have 500 votes. That's a bit ambitious, but that is the aim. Depending on which party or group one is in which group you are, basically. Last time for SFP it was needed about 150 roughly on the lower end. This means that all the votes of a group are counted together, and that in the end benefits each of the candidates of that group. If you are a candidate for the Greens, for example, which is smaller, or for Centerpartiet Keskusta, then you need more. And I think for Centerpartiet Keskusta, nobody got in Vaasa. So there, in a way, you would have needed considerably more. But for SFP, it's around 150 roughly, and a bit more for the other parties. This, of course, presumes that SFP actually will get a large number of votes as we did last time. But the point for the voter is that you need to choose the party and the person. In a way, those are the two choices that you need to make. How serious do you and your party prioritize issues facing immigrant groups? Now, talking about Vaasa, first of all, in Vaasa we have, I think it was 97 languages spoken as a mother tongue, or even more, and immigrants in Vaasa, it's a very wide group. It's about 9 to 10% of the population. We have refugees. Then we have also students. Vaasa University in the midterm wants to have half of their students from abroad. So the universities and higher education institutions are also promoting that. Then we have what I would call romantic refugees. I married a Norwegian guy and moved to Norway some 10 years ago. I didn't stay there, but anyway, so people move for family reasons. They fall in love with a lovely lady or a lovely man and move to Vaasa. Or you have people who are moving here for work. in a way. They look for work, they get work at ABB or Danfoss or Wärtsilä or whatever. So the immigrants is not one group. That's one thing. I take it seriously, that I can promise. And why? Because I think from a philosophical point of view, it's important that everybody feels at home and together in the place where they live. So, and I also think that good politics, meaning good education, good healthcare, sensible economic development, this will benefit everyone, including the immigrants. So the better Vaasa works, the better it is for everyone. Now, for immigrants specifically, I think there are certain actions that need to be prioritized. For example, the integration of both refugees or otherwise being here or students into the Finnish working life. That's not an easy nut to crack, and it needs actions from everyone. And actually, I'll show you something. I wrote about that challenge, this free issue newspaper, on the fact that Vaasa specifically should do more and can do more on the integration of foreign background people into working life. That article is also visible in my homepages, johannakauppinen.fi. How serious is SFP? So in a way, is SFP RKP a good party for an immigrant background person to vote? I believe so. And why? First of all, it's telling that our communication at the moment is in 3 languages: Finnish, Swedish, English. I'll put a link on the presentation of the candidates nationally, actually, into the discussions once we are done with this thing. Secondly, and as Ministry of Justice Anna-Maija Henriksson, who is also the party chair, has often said that the equality, the intrinsic value of every person, regardless of background, nationality, language, whatever, that is at the core of RKP-SFP. So I think it's in the DNA of SFP to protect minorities. It's also a minority language party. So I think that overall good policies benefit everyone, including immigrants. In Vaasa, specific attention needs to be paid to this integration of foreign background student workers to working life. And I think also SFP really takes, in a way, the good being and well-being of immigrants seriously. And that shows in the actions as well. I hope it answers your questions. If I don't answer your question, or if I don't answer it fully, then just type more. This is supposed to be a dialogue. Hey, we have quite a number of people present. Eli meillä on ihan mukava joukko tässä. Ja olen toivottavasti joihinkin kysymyksiin onnistunut vastaamaan. Om du har några frågor på svenska, då kan du pröva på min svenska. Finska är mitt modersmål, men jag har använt svenska ofta i jobbsammanhang, så att det går också. Regarding your potential work at the council, what do you think will be the main challenges in coming years in Vaasa? Yeah, and then there's another one. I'll take that immediately afterwards. Well, hopefully the challenges will not be the same as last year, so I hope we will be spared pandemic. I think overall the good execution of this welfare reform will be critical. And to me, I think it's important that Vaasa, together with a group of other municipalities in Ostrobothnia, has decided to centralize more the social and welfare services. This is something that the government is planning to do centrally as well, or nationwide as well. We in Ostrobothnia will do it, I think, in 2023 or 2022. Anyways, it's during these 4 years, so a bit ahead of the national schedule. And do that in a good way so that preventive work and healthcare and in a way the whole spectrum from baby to pensionist is done in a good way. I think that is a challenge, that is a structural change and should be handled in a good way. Vaasa economics has been, or city economics has been improving. So the current administration has been able to, in a way, do smart things about that. So, and then overall, the digitalization, the world is changing in a ever-changing variety. As a last point, I think I really do think that we are losing potential at the moment by not really concentrating on the integration of foreigners into working life. Okay, keep asking. So if we run out of time, I will then just answer in writing here. But here's a follow-up. Why I asked this question is from Lukumaasu is that it was confessed in an interview recently in Vaasabladet that the urgent needs may not be a priority on the list of the party, even if the candidate has an intrinsic motivation to pursue an agenda to solve the problems of immigrants. This makes it difficult at the end. Yeah, that's a reality. I have not yet made very big campaign promises because of that. I think it's hard to promise. In a way, if you promise something, you also should have the means to do it. And at the end of the day, it's a balance of many different needs inside the community, and it needs to be done in a smart way. I don't think there are any quick fixes in party politics. Why I think SFP would be a good choice still is that the core values of the party are international, liberal, market economy, take care of the little person. And these are basically benefiting the immigrants. Also, as a citizen, I think talk to your elected politicians also between elections. That gives that puts pressure for us to keep the promises. So, not entirely a clear answer, Lukumanu, but I hope that answered that somewhat. Gary is asking, you mentioned the multilingualism advantage in Vaasa. What plans would you have to diversify education for all ages 7 and up and adults in the city? Well, first of all, as far as I know, or actually I know that Vaasa offers education in Finnish, Swedish and English at the moment in all levels. So basically from kindergarten, from the primary, like before school, for preschool children. Also there's an English language school, Suvilahden Koulu, if I'm not mistaken, up to 9th class, and then there is a possibility to do an international baccalaureate. As such, in Finland, there isn't a possibility of doing the normal gymnasium in English. That could be an idea that should be perhaps advanced on national level. But for Vaasa, I think the current offerings are good and should be maintained. For example, maintaining an English language school is not an obligatory task. But if I'm asked that should you keep it, then my answer would be yes, because there's a queue to get to that school. There's an increased need, and also it serves the current population of Vaasa for foreigners, but also for expatriate Finns who've been traveling the world and come back and want to offer English language education to their children. So multilingualism, I don't think actually there is a need to diversify. I think there's a need to maintain what we have, and then to support basically, I mean, we have 6 university level educational institutions in Vaasa. All or majority offer English language also. Vaasa University, as an example, wants to have half of their students coming from abroad. I think for this group, the action point would really to be a closer cooperation between the companies, the employment services, and the education institutions, so that the students, once they graduate, actually have the choice of getting work in Vaasa and Finland. Otherwise, we educate them either for free or for low tuition fees, and they go and benefit the companies in US and UK and Germany and so forth. Hopefully that answers your question, roughly. Gary, I'm just scrolling here that I haven't forgotten too many things. Hey, so happy that you are here. This is a corona way of discussion with your future counselor. By the way, one promise which I can give, I will keep these kinds of Coffee with Johanna events also if and when I'm elected to the council. At the moment, I'm doing this twice every 2 weeks. I think during the 4-year period that will be not so often, but still on a regular basis. You know, tässä on yksi vaalilupaus, eli jos ja kun toivottavasti saan riittävästi ääniä, että olen valtuustossa ensi kaudella, niin aion silloinkin pitää tällaisia kahvia Johannan kanssa tilaisuuksia, mahdollisesti jopa ihan face to face, jos korona helpottaa, mutta joka tapauksessa olisi joku foorumi, jolla on mahdollista keskustella kuntapolitiikasta.